Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome, everybody. It doesn't look like there's too many people here yet. Roger Prescott, Shari D, Janice Windsor, Moonlit Illusion, and that's about it. Must be a quiet night. Okay, I've got a lot to cover, so I'm just going to get started. A couple of repeat ones, but interesting still. The fire tornadoes, there's another one out already. The video making the rounds, and that's this one. I guess this was in Grant County, Washington. You can see some of the video. So there's the fire tornado there. That's not that big a fire compared to the first fire tornadoes we were hearing about. They were saying they were really huge, unusually huge fires. They're not saying that about this one that I can see. 7,800 acres. It's a big fire, but it's not, massive. Everybody now seems to know, oh, fire tornado on Reddit. It's been a month or so since we talked about these. So word travels fast. Okay. This is another somewhat repeat. This one is from... the old one or the new one? Fogbow. Yeah, Christina Gerald found this one. It's just an extra really nice one. I almost made this one the thumbnail because it's really cool. Photographer captures stunning shot of rare white rainbow over moor in Scotland. And I think we talked about the other day that some of these look like they're actually getting colors in them. I'll close that one down. All right, this one. Who came up with this one? I'm sort of out of it today. Hill, Walt Disney, Fogbow. Uh-oh. I'm not sure if I wrote it down. Easter Island. Oh, yes, this is from Christina Gerald also. Blue Planet 2, giant trevally. I don't know how to pronounce this. It's this huge fish. I'd been hearing about it the last month, and I was suspicious that it was an ME, especially just the size. It's like a really giant fish. Versus, so huge trevally. I want to call it trevally, but I think it's trevally versus Arctic tern. So basically what we have now is the fish are jumping out of the water and eating birds. So this one of these birds is a goners. See if it'll play. Come on now, you could do it. All right, so there's the fish. So what he does is he sees the bird from underwater, and he's able to account for the refraction of the light and know where the bird is and leap out and eat it. So basically these trevally, looks like he missed that one, but... So let's see that again. Yeah, he just misses that one, but over here there's one where he gets it, I believe. This video might be on its last legs. I have a lot of windows open, so... All right, I think this is another one. Well, he gets away on this one. Anyway, you can watch the rest of it. I don't want to play too much because copyright strike and all that. See what you guys are up to. Yeah, the white rainbow. We've had that on before. I just like that image. I'm in one of the Facebook groups, and there was a picture of Arctica, and the ice was black. I don't think Arctica exists anymore. Some checked the Google map and saw it, but many couldn't find it. I've noticed your windows work a lot better now. Yeah, I did. I have been having less problems lately. and I have the same computer and the same setup, so it is weird. But one thing I've been doing is I haven't been putting as many windows on the screen. Okay, here's another neat little thing. Moon Hill, China. This is by Julie Holcomb. I've never seen this before. It's like a hill with a giant hole in it. It's pretty cool, but this is very large. I've never seen this before. Anyway, just thought I'd put that one up there. All right. This one, I think I've talked about it before to some extent. The Minister of Antiquities of Egypt was, in my timeline, it was Zawahi Hawass. In this timeline, there is no Zawahi Hawass, it's just Zahi Hawass. So he lost a whole 2 digits from me. I actually noticed that like 3 years ago. It was like one of the first, I think it's the first Emmy I actually saw for myself that was public, you know, that a lot of people knew this guy, Zahi Hawass. But what's weird about him now is he was only the Minister of Antiquities for like less than a year. He did other stuff there, but he was actually only the Minister of Antiquities for like in 2011. So he was not, actually that's not the one I wanted to save. It was actually, hold on, Zahi Hawass. When you look up him specifically, so he was just involved in archaeology, chief inspector at Giza. In my timeline in the 80s, he was for sure Minister of Antiquities at that time. And he had like a lock hold. If you wanted to dig anywhere in Egypt, you had to go through him, and you kind of had to suck up. I don't know how his personality is here, but he was, you had to toe the party line, you had to agree with everything he said, or you were out. But he was definitely Minister of Antiquities back in the 80s for me, because that's when I first learned of him, when I started learning about, the Egyptian artifacts and stuff. It was quite some time ago. And he was Minister of Antiquities for many, many, many years, and he just kind of ruled the roost in Egypt. But in this timeline, first of all, they call it Minister of State for Antiquities Affairs. That was not how it was for me. And he was only actually had this position in 2011, and that was it. So that's a huge one for me. Totally different. Totally different. Let's see. So this one was brought up by Thomas Larson. I'm not sure what part of this weirdness he was specifically referring to, though, and I don't know if I even see the same ME as he does on this one. Minister of Antiquities, yeah. But he was for me a long time. Here he was only briefly, and then he had it for a short while. Then he quit, and then he got rehired, and then he was fired. All in 2011 in this timeline. Faith of Hope is on. Faith, Hope, Love is on. Nano Arts Net Drawing. Skookum. Welcome everybody. PG2424. A Ronin Quantum Frequency Channel. Bill ME. Plume. Dead GPK. Loyalty Makes You Family. Mandela Mile. So yeah, a lot of people just a little bit late today. Kukuk Monty. All right, so anyways, where are we? All right. So somebody mentioned the hats on Easter Island, and I was kind of checking it out, and what I'm seeing is that the ears, we were talking about how they have ears a while back. At that time, they looked like ears. They were ears. Now I'm looking at these things on the side of the head, and I'm not sure what they are. There's been a little bit more changes in the face. Is this an ear, or is it a giant hair pendant or something? Um, I mean, I guess it could be still an ear, but it doesn't scream ear anymore, going all the way up to the top of the head like that. Um, See, they're just long, flat things now on the side. That's a change. Another change is the lips. The lips have a split now. They didn't have two separate lips before. They were just a pursed area. So now he's got two separate lips, or whatever it is. You see the ears again here. What is that thing on the side of the face? Okay, another change I've noticed is that a lot of the noses, they have like a bar under the nostril area now. That's weird. Let me see if I can find one that has that. Okay, now the ears on this one, those are more ear-like, but let's see if I can make that larger. So they're getting more variation. Yeah, I don't know. It looks more like an ear ring than an ear here. These red hats are definitely getting bigger still. Bigger, bigger, bigger. I need a good. I need to see the snaz on one of these. This kind of shows it. This curl is weird. I'm not sure if that is even real. That might be just a fake one. Oh, this is another one. There were carvings on there before on the backs, but they didn't have this strap like he's wearing pants before for me. That's recent. A lot of times it looks like he's wearing, I don't know what it's like, some kind of a cloth rope thing with a little twisty tie back here. That's different. Again, the ears, are those dog ears or what? I mean, that doesn't look like human ears. Let me see if I can find a real one here. Okay, this one kind of shows it. Ugh. There's a big what is the name of that thing that separates the two nostrils? Septum, I think. Oh, here, this one really shows it. It's just big and it's down. It's down below the nose. It's weird. Let's see if it'll show it. See, what's all that? What's this giant thing here? The nose is up here. So it's like sticking down. It's weird. Ooh, that one showed it. There was one for a second. Here's another one. What's this thing? Different for me. I don't. Also here. Ugh, that's right. It's going to be right where my face is. Anyway, you can see that. I don't think you can see the other one because I'm covering it with my head. But right there, you can see that they now have this strap thing, and it looks like it was tied or something. My voice is getting a little hoarse. See if that helps a little bit. It's been super hectic. We had a 12-hour power outage starting last night. So I didn't get any of my prep done for the live stream. There was a tree went down, took out a power line that started a fire, and like half mile from here. And so it took them a long time to get the power up. The road was closed. Then there was a high-speed chase with the police this morning that went right near my house, like when I was leaving. Look at the noses. They're all pointy. The road in front of me was closed. There was like 4 different stops you had to go through. What's this circle thing up here? I think that's those weird ears again. Okay. Anyway, so I don't know what's going on with these things, but they keep changing. This one shows the ears a lot. Stone is too light. Should be black lava. They weren't black for me, but you know, who knows? Timelines vary. Mutton chops. Yeah. I don't know. It's just that they're like straight like this. I don't know what those are turning into. Yeah, maybe a headdress, maybe some hair. Now, at least in one timeline, they were saying those red hats were actually representative of hair, and that the little secondary knots on were like the top knot was what they were saying. So I don't know. Yeah, they were just little ears and more of a frown. Yeah, they didn't have much face before. I mean, they didn't have much lips, so I don't know if I could even say what the expression was because it was so abstract before. So many Emmys about Easter Island. Yeah, and it keeps changing. It just keeps changing. This is one of the things that is still changing. Keep an eye on it. I hate the Moai Emmys. I used to be a fan of them. You know what? The moon creeps me out now. I used to love the moon, the moonlight. Now I look up at that and I'm just like, you liar. Just, just don't. I can't think of the moon the same way anymore. All right. What else we got here? That was you. Oh, yeah. This one I saved because it had a very nice image of the ears. All right. This is a weird GIF where she does this weird, see, that looks impossible. I think in the old time that would have been impossible. Even if you were very flexible, you didn't see anything like that. That was, found that one. All right, I'm going to stop it now. That was from Thomas Larson, found that one. There's just a lot like that lately. Oh, there's the other Zawahi Hawass one. Okay, this one was found by Linda Langley. Cave pearls. I'm pretty sure that these didn't exist, but they have little pearls that that come out of a cave, and they say that most caves have them. If there's if there's some water. Cave pearls are formed by a concretion of calcium salts that form concentric layers around a nucleus. Exposure to moving water polishes the surface of cave pearls, making them glossy. If exposed to the air, cave pearls can degrade and appear rough. Calcium salts. Yeah, calcium salts. I'm just trying to think if those are affected a lot by moisture. All the rocks I know that degrade in the air, it's because of moisture. But if those things formed in water, I don't know. It's a little bit weird, but I'm not like a chemist. Cave pearls form when water dripping into a cave loses carbon dioxide and precipitates calcite. Calcite shouldn't degrade in the air, though. That's just sort of weird. Anyway, you can buy these things, although there's not a lot of them available. I think that we'll find more on eBay. Right now, this is the only one I found on eBay. I think this might be sort of a new thing. They're saying that most caves have them, but not a lot of them in each cave. I think we'll be finding these. But anyway, so here we go. Cave pearl from disused mine in Teesdale, Cumbria, UK. Although apparently in UK it's completely legal to take cave pearls as long as it's not like a heritage site. So as you can see, it looks like it's only about 1.5 millimeters, so it's tiny. But I did see some images of bigger ones. Let's see. Cave pearl. Boink. All right, so like look at how many of those there are. So there's like these stacks of them in a lot of these images. And those are looking kind of bigger. I suspect that we'll see more of these on eBay. Some of those are looking really large. Very neat. Now, what I found before is that when something is a new Emmy, you'll see like one on eBay. And then like 6 months later, you're going to see a lot on eBay. So supposedly are a couple of caves that are known to have a lot of these. This is not just a few here. Well, I suspect that we will see more of these. And they're cool. So what do you know? We go some more of those. So they're basically little balls of calcite, it sounds like. All right, so good find. Linda Langley. Okay, I already covered that one. All right, let's see what I've left off here. Okay, I'm going to do the other one from Linda. She actually had a lot of them, but a lot of her ones we already covered. Red River Hog is also from Linda Langley. I don't think I've covered this one. They've got super weird ears. Just crazy looking. Never seen these before. Oh, that's not a very good image. I don't know why it opens so small. It's supposed to be a big image. Huh, it's weird. They're all opening small. That is a big image too. Look at the ears. It's like some kind of... And then the males have these giant like protuberances on the side of their face, like the warthogs do. So there's big, they say it's bone. Tiny image, big image. Okay, better. So anyway, yeah, those ears, I have not seen that before. Kind of cool. Red River Hog. Okay, we got that one. All right. This one, I think that this may not be a brand new one, but it's something that Thomas Larson noticed. Disney World. Disney World was always Disney World, right? Disney World. If you type in Disney World, it's Walt Disney World. I don't remember it ever being that. There was Walt Disney was the guy, and Disney World was the place. I've never heard of it Walt Disney World until just recently. But now if you type in Disney World, right away Walt Disney World comes up. Welcome to Walt Disney World. Come and enjoy. I didn't add Walt in here, but everybody else is. Disney World, Walt Disney World. I actually live really close to Disney World, too, for quite some time now. It's only about 45 minutes, an hour drive. It's not that far, Anaheim. So all these websites know about it. Apparently I didn't. And Thomas Larson didn't. Don't know what else to say. This is third time the charm for Disney World's free dining deal. The Walt Disney World Resort. Almost all of them add it now. So, I don't know. It looks like we've got a split on that one. Ugh, another poor animal. I don't know. I don't think they're suffering that much. They just have long ears, but otherwise they look like they're... talking about those hogs. Nobody's heard of cave pearls. I think that one's a real fresh one. I think Linda Langley caught that one real early in the production of it. The Mauis have changed a lot. Darn it, I didn't know them nearly as well. I think everybody really has. The one thing about the Maori, for me, New Zealand just had the Maori as their natives, but there's now a lot of these little side islands with other populations with other names I've never heard of before, just recently. So in that way, I would say for sure, lots of changes. Okay, got that one, got that one. Okay. This was one I noticed. It may not mean a lot to you. But I suddenly saw this. I'm on this thing called nextdoor.com, and it's basically neighbors can talk to neighbors in a forum where only neighbors are allowed to go. And they saw this thing. Cute dude. Although we didn't see this white one. We saw the... I actually didn't realize they were white in the winter. Cute guys. Long-tailed weasel. We did not have a long-tailed weasel. In fact, I've never heard of a long-tailed weasel. Get some images up. Okay, this is the San Diego one here, I think, with this funny thing on his face. So there's kind of a whole story behind this, and that was about, I'd have to look it up exactly, but it might have been about 6 years ago, maybe 7. I looked out my window and I saw what I thought were ferrets. And we don't have native ferrets around here. And what was weird is they had a black face and then kind of tawny fur. And then they had these black tips on their paws. And there was a family of them. There was like 2 adults and some younger ones. And they were basically just bopping around my front yard, wheeling things. I thought maybe they were escaped ones, but I've never seen escaped ones with those. I've never seen any domestic ones with those markings. And since I worked at Petco, I've seen my share of ferrets. So if I was smart, I would have taken a photo, but they weren't there for long, and they saw me looking and they kind of skittered off. But I looked them up online to see if there were any weasels or any ferrets native to San Diego, and there was absolutely nothing. But the weirdest thing was that there was one that in ancient times supposedly lived here but had gone extinct. Black-faced ferret. I actually didn't look these up before the show either. But basically, there was only one place where they were known to exist. Interesting. They're not... these are not looking like last time I looked them up, let's just say. Their faces were way more black then than they are now. And so looking a lot more like that weasel. But the ones I saw did not have those 2 postage stamp white things on, like right here. It didn't have that. And it didn't have all this white. It was just black. So I know it wasn't these things because it was just totally black. There was no white on the face. It was just tawny and black. I made a point of really looking at them to make sure that I could ID them later. Even these black-footed ferrets now look a lot like these guys now. That's interesting. Anyway, so I looked these up and they said, oh, they only exist in one place and they're almost extinct, and they used to exist in Southern California, but they long ago went extinct. And I didn't know about the ME then, but I was just, I was kind of like thinking these things shouldn't exist here, and yet they were there. And they were spotted by a couple other people that my mom knew in the neighborhood, said that some ferrets were going through their yard, so it wasn't just me. And so it was one of those things where I'm like, anything's possible, because I swear I saw black-faced ferrets or black-footed ferrets, and they're not supposed to exist here. So I'm like, geez, do we really have, a population here that nobody knows about? But since I didn't have photos, I didn't think anybody would take me seriously. But so anyways, at that time, I researched and researched to make sure that there were no native guys. And I looked for weasels also, because I know they're similar looking, and there were none. So these guys are new. These guys are new. Brand new. The bats seeing with their eyes creeps me out. Yeah, that's an older ME for me. 3 years ago, they already saw. Now I think about it, it makes sense. They have eyes. Why would they have these fully functional looking eyes and not use them? But I never questioned it back then. Never questioned it. Why have eyes and eyelids and all that if you can't see? But never questioned it. Everybody knew bats were blind, and they used that radar thing. Everybody knew that. All right, so that's 1 page worth. Is it Disneyland in Japan? Disney World in Florida. Yeah, Disneyland in California. I don't know what it's called in Japan. I don't really speak Japanese. But, I grew up in California, and it was always Disneyland. Yeah, Disney World in Florida. All right, this one is an old one, but it's changed. I saw this one about 3 years ago. Let's see if I can find the original. I think I have to put pyrosome in now to find that. All right. Where are you? All right, this guy. It was a lot smaller when I first saw it. The diver, when was that? Maybe 4 or 5 years ago. A diver found this weird creature under the sea. Oh, he was so freaked out. It was so incredibly rare. And then they've finally identified it as a siphonophore. And for years, then the last bunch of years, this was a siphonophore, which is an organism that's like a group organism. The cells are like, it's not a whole animal. It's like a communal cell organism or something. It's weird. All the cells are like their own little animals, but they work together. So the concept of is weird. Now, one thing that's happened over time is this thing has gotten bigger and bigger. So you see the same image with the same diver, but either the diver's shrinking, which I don't think so, or the siphonophore is getting bigger and bigger. And we're seeing more images of it in different patterns than we did originally. Also, the mouth area now has, see, he never wrote it before because it was too small. This also has changed. Dang, it's got this kind of pointy thing on the lip now, like it's got more of a scoop. See if I can find another image of it. That one's not any bigger. Anyway, there's kind of like a finger on the mouth sticking out now. That's new. That's interesting. There's only one photo of that and no large photos. This one kind of shows it here. This hook thing, this wasn't on there before. It was just open, just a mouth. Okay, so that's changed. But they called this for years, it was a siphonophore. I learned the word just so I would know what this is. And when the ME came around, I'm like, that siphonophore is an ME, I think. Because, you could just say you never knew about it. But this was absolutely tagged as siphonophore from every source. But now it's not a siphonophore, it's a pyrosome. This is now a pyrosome, which is a relative of a siphonophore. So we've got this whole new batch of things called pyrosomes. They're like siphonophores, but more bioluminescent and more brighter, resembling hollow tubes. So this pyrosome, so this is one thing. When it first came out, it was not bioluminescent. Okay, so when I read that on the wiki, it's more bioluminescent. So they're all bioluminescent, the pyrosomes and the siphonophores. All right, so the tube-like ones that are more bioluminescent are siphonoforms. Ooh, this one's pulsating. I didn't see this one. Pulsating pyrosome lights up dive. I might have to check that out. I don't know. It might be too soon for video on these, though. Lights up dive in Galapagos. Pyrosomes have been in the news this summer because masses of them are, for the first time, showing up along North America's northwestern coast. I didn't hear about that. It must be further north. Okay, I would have to pay them money to see that, so I'm not going to do it. But that's interesting. Pyrosomes, northwest coast. Let's see what we can find. Bloom in the Pacific. This probably is it. So we got more glow in the dark. Big surprise. After 3 years of unprecedented warm water, yes, blame it on global warming. That stuff glows in the dark. Some more than 2 feet long started gumming up research nets, glomming onto fish hooks, and cascading onto beaches. Each is technically a colony of other multicelled animals called zooids. Yeah, that word was not around when I was first looking into those, zooids. Are cone-shaped tunicates normally found in the tropics, but they are spotted once in a while as far north as British Columbia. But this spring they are starting to swarm in the eastern Pacific in masses never before recorded. So this is on the eastern. All right, so tubes, apparently they glow. Pretty cool. They can be big. All right, so what's that thumbnail thing? Galaxy. I think it was a siphon. No, I think it's a galaxy pyrosome. So there's the new word now we have to remember, siphonophore and pyrosome. Okay, I think it was maybe it was a siphonophore. There, galaxy siphonophore. So there's a lot of cool ones now, and this is the one that was on the thumbnail. So these are all colonies of multicelled organisms. There's another really cool one there. I think this is again the one. So some of these they glow, they sting. That's one thing that's different. When the siphonophores came out, they weren't stinging. But now at least some of them do, apparently. They can have a nasty sting. All right, so that brings to the next question. You guys probably heard of Japanese man-o-war jellyfish. Now they keep changing. They were more jellyfish-like for me originally. Now they've got this colors. They've got this thing they stick out of the ocean that causes them to blow on the wind. Then they tangle down. Now these things used to be really dangerous for a long time for me. Oh, if you get stung by this thing, you could die. That trailed for hundreds of feet or something, some really ridiculous long distance would trail underneath. Well, guess what? They're not jellyfish anymore. They're jellyfish like Portuguese man-of-war. And if I remember right, they're now, it's a siphonophore now. It has always been a siphonophore. Japanese man of war were never a jellyfish. People just mistakenly assumed it was a jellyfish. No, they were a jellyfish. They're also not that dangerous anymore. I'm going to type in jellyfish I'll type in siphonophore. So now it just hurts, but it's not like the end of the world. It hurts for like 3 hours. You're probably not going to have to go to the hospital. Portuguese men of war are not jellyfish. They are members of the very words of siphonophore class of marine animals. All right, so there you can see what they look like now. They're getting weirder every time I look at them. Ugh, not much info there. Oh, it has eternal life, too. Okay. I mean, they really were just jellyfish with long tentacles when I first knew of them. They didn't have all this color and all this junk on the top that sailed on the seas. All right, what I want to know is the sting. Looks like a flying spaghetti monster. Man of war sting. I'm just going to type in sting. Treatment of stings. Okay. Stings are painful. They result in severe dermatitis, long, thin, open wounds that like you got whipped. They're just an irritating response from your skin. Treatment usually begins with application of poured salt water to rinse away the remaining. Salt water has used as fresh water has been shown to cause nematocystic discharge. Vinegar is believed to deactivate the remaining nematocysts. Followed by an application of shaving cream for 30 seconds. Followed by shaving the area with a razor and rinsing the razor thoroughly between each stroke. Wow, I've never heard that one before. This removes any remaining unfired nematocysts. Heat in the form of hot salt water, hot packs may be applied. Heat speeds the breakdown of the toxins already in the skin. Hydrocortisone cream may also be used. Okay, so there's not like a talk about dying or anything. It's just like, ow, it hurts. It really sucks, but there's no like rushing to the hospital. You're going to die, blah, blah, blah. This is the shape of the thing now. It's just ridiculous looking. It used to look like a jellyfish, but it's a siphonophore now. So it's got this, it's got this thing that sticks up and that actually the wind blows it. All right, so that was definitely a jellyfish for me before. For over a week. Oh, your right hip was hurting. Okay, yes, my hips have been kind of weird. Maybe something going on with those. Because I was noticing that the last 2 days, it felt like I'd been sitting too much or something. When I sit, my hips feel like I've been sitting for 10 hours, and I have not sat any more than I ever do, so... I thought that was weird. And then I'd switch over. The left one isn't as bad as the right one, but there's just no reason for that. It's weird. I find that lifting weights helps with the pain from the changes. Yeah, maybe, huh? I don't know. I was playing pickleball. I did a lot of stuff this morning, so... Any footage about the dodo? I think they're still extinct. I haven't heard anything. Might as well throw it out there. You never know what you'll find anymore. Extinct flightless bird. I am not seeing anything jumping out about them being found, so I don't think... It doesn't seem like we've made any major progress on that one. Last I checked, the pictures are gone. Only drawings. Let's see. All right, let's see what we got. These are all artificial images. I'm not seeing any... I don't know if we had images before, so I can't comment on that one. I've heard octopuses and whales are in more fringe forums before. I don't know. I mean, everything just constantly changing, so if the reality suddenly said they're alien, what does that even mean? I mean, I don't know. It's all just another storyline, basically. Just saw the sailfish change colors with mood. Oh, the sailfish changes color with mood, does it? What sailfish color changes reveal about their moods? Yeah, that's new. I've not heard that. Sailfish broadcast their moods through changes in skin color, giving anglers a show that many seasoned blue water anglers find just as exciting as hooking up. Anyone who has trolled with teasers has probably seen sailfish darken up, changing from grayish blue to black as they prepare to charge simulated prey. But black is only one of the many colors that sailfish display. They can display copper, bronze, neon blue, purplish tints on their skin when they're tired or excited. Vertical bars tinged with white and electric blue spots are common on lit-up sails, such as those shown in underwater videos, corralling sardines into balls. The best thing about fishing is seeing them change colors right before your eyes. That's totally... yeah, that's totally new. And now they're all just waxing on about where exactly the white and where exactly this color. The lack of dark color means the sailfish is not ready to eat. He's observed sailfish that come up beside another that was hooked on fly. When the companion fish doesn't darken, it's almost impossible to get that one to bite. Display of color can include bright blue pectoral fins and tail. If you get your bait in front of them, they'll turn black and will get stripes. Psh, that's such ridiculousness. Oops, I'm always hitting that thing. I'm sorry. Sailfish. Change colors. Oh my goodness. When am I going to get a color-changing cat? Who has shaving cream at the beach? I would guess that maybe the lifeguard would, if they're known to be in that area. Eyebrows. I think eyebrows might be getting more shaggy. I've noticed that this monster eyebrows thing is totally in. I mean, some of them are just complete insanity. I mean, what's up with this dude? Who comes up with this stuff? Yeah. I don't know. Is it too much anime? So anyways, yeah, these monster eyebrows are... I know this girl who does the tattoos, the permanent tattoos, and she has to fight with people because they want to tattoo these monster eyebrows onto their head, and she's like, "No, I'm not doing it because, in 5 years you might decide that giant fuzzy eyebrows are not popular anymore, and you can't get the tattoo off that easily." So I don't know what's going on, but I wonder sometimes if this is kind of mirroring what's going on the face. I swear that the hairs on my eyebrows are just longer. You can see them better. They just look more, I don't know, they look more hairy. Sounds kind of ridiculous, but they just look more shaggy. There was somewhere somebody had even managed to braid their eyebrows. They had that long of brows. It doesn't look, yeah, yeah. I just wonder if it's kind of like something that is getting us inoculated against the giant brow look. Hip pain earlier this week. Yeah, yeah, and that's like a part of me that doesn't hurt normally. So I was like, "What? I didn't do anything. Um, I don't have any other injuries. Why are you aching?" I don't know. It's not anything that's ever ached before. So yeah, let me take a peek at the hips. Anatomy. A lot of times the changes are just a little bit by a little bit, but what's all that? All right. All right, let me just look. It looks like the ball is just sinking really deep into the hip right now. It looks like it's really sinking in. That's about right. God, these circles under here have gotten huge too. There didn't used to be any circles for me there. It looks like the ball joint is just sinking into the hip really hard right now. Look at this, sacrum is like taking over this hip region. Weird, weird, weird. Yeah, it's just and maybe that's what it is. It's just sinking in. Looks so different now. I noticed women, it seems like this region sticks out a lot more, the hip region on a lot of women. Like if you look at the models, if they haven't been airbrushed to death. Weirdly, when they airbrush them, they airbrush that out. But if they're not airbrushed, it looks like the hips are just a lot bigger now. You can tell they're skinny people, so it's not fat. Yeah, look at how it's deep the ball is sinking in. That's right about where it's achy too, so I'm going to make a guess that that is what it is. Just sinking in. Look, it's deep in there. Look at that. Wonder what that little thing is right there. Huh, interesting. Okay, well, that's my best guess on that one. I think someone has brought this up before, but it's just ongoing. Oh man, it's not there anymore. Oh, somebody deleted that image. It was a probably I can find a similar one. It was a Maine Coon cat. And they just look like such like lions now. the face. I mean, I was thinking about getting one of these cats. They didn't have this giant, puffy, um, big chin, and they look like lions now. They just didn't have that before. They were big cats and they were furry, but their face was not so weird looking. Now, granted, maybe they just bred them really weird in the last 10 years, but look at that. The amount of hair coming out of creatures' ears also, I must say, has definitely expanded. I mean, they really do have like a mane because there's so much hair coming out of their ears. This tufts on top of the ears, that was not something that any domestic cats ever had. Just, it looks like a lion now. Yep. Anyways, it's kind of ongoing. I'm seeing more with the tufts now. 6 months ago, none of them had the tufts on the ears. Like, a lot of the wild animals are getting huge tufts now. It just started as this big, just little. Now it's huge. Also, the trend for wild animals being tolerable pets has really expanded. I'm seeing like pet pumas, caracals. These things just weren't anything you could handle before, but now, they might tear up your house a little, but people can have them as pets. I mean, I'm not saying you should, but I don't know. The Emmy is making them more tameable, basically. Horn on top of the femur. Well, all those bones have changed. Let's look again. Hip anatomy. Burp. Oh yeah, this one kind of has it. There is a little hook on there. You're right, just on this one. A lot of the images aren't showing it. I think, okay, trochanter. Yeah, you're right. You're right. There is, some of them don't show it much. Now, this has been changing for me, but this one just shows it a lot more. I think if this has gotten a lot smaller and this is getting bigger, this is going to fit right in here. Then it won't have to be as strong. And then the outer muscles are going to attach to this thing. This protrusion is what I'm thinking. So here it shows it more, the horn or whatever you want to call it. Doesn't seem to have a name yet, but give it time. Give it time. Unless it's greater trochanter is going to be the name. All right, see, that doesn't really show the horn. Interesting. It's probably going to be something that the muscles attach to. Yeah, good observation. Good observation. That definitely has gotten more prominent. See now, yeah, see, it sinks way in there now. And then you just see this. Ooh, now that one shows a lot of the horns. Huh, interesting. All right. I saw that women's knees go in more than men's. That is an old thing for me that we had that. It's supposed to be about something about how our hips were designed wider, so for childbirth and all that kind of stuff. Hoping hip problems do not start this way. I don't know. Sometimes it hurts for a while, but it seems like it goes away once it gets where it's got what the change kind of gets done. So my butt is rounder. Used to be flat. I'm like a Kardashian now. Yeah, I think that that big butts thing is just that's this timeline. Femur neck got longer a few months ago. Yeah, it's been just kind of slowly. I'll tell you, way back, the whole hip, it was the hip would come down and then the end of the bone would go up in from underneath, and it was a completely different shape. It was more like that classic bone shape on the end where it would just come like that and go like that. That was it. It looks like a machine now. It totally looks different for me. I mean, I don't even know where to start because it's like the whole thing is an ME. I didn't have these circle things down here. They started out small. They're getting really big. I just wonder, I guess the muscles go in there or something, but those things freak me out. Yeah, it reminds me, and it's weird because I actually checked it, but in Terminator, what series was that when it was the later series when Arnold Schwarzenegger became the good guy and there was a different Terminator. That Terminator had hips like this, and at the time I just thought, oh, that's a really efficient design, but we didn't have hips like this. And I kept thinking, I'm like, yeah, that's such a great design for hips. Well, now that Terminator does not have this design, and we do, so it kind of flips me out. I used to complain I never got to go anywhere. Yeah, you get to go to different dimensions now, I guess. Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah, the stuff's definitely getting interesting. I was in my old timeline. I was normal. Now I'm shorter with crooked nose. Don't get the same attention from the ladies anymore. It proves it's all about looks. Yeah, well, it goes both ways. Women don't get that attention either. So my sternum in the bottom flips out. Never used to. I saw Terminator again, and a lot looks affected. Yeah. I'm gonna bring this one up. It might be too nichey. Um, the original Star Trek, and nobody else shared this one with me, so I don't know if it's just like I'm from my own little timeline or what. But the original Star Trek, when Spock comes down with the Ponfar, and they have to go back to Vulcan, and there's this religious leader of Vulcan who's in charge of it all, and it's this woman. She had a totally different outfit for me, and I have yet to hear anybody describe anything like the outfit that I remember. But it was very distinctive because I used to wonder how they pulled it off for certain reasons. It was certain weird things about it that kind of were gravity defying. And so I used to look at that and go, man, that must have been a real pain in the butt to sew that. The colors were different. She sure as heck did not have these colored stripe, which I think are supposed to be hair. And the old outfit was tacky, but it had a totally different look than this tacky outfit. Totally different colors, everything. I actually think that other stuff in this set, I don't think that was the color sash that Spock wore. Wait, blah, blah. I probably shouldn't have clicked on that. Excuse me. I don't remember. Ugh, that doesn't help. Some of these guys look like Birdmen in this set. I don't remember them looking like that. This guy, I don't remember this outfit at all. This outfit I don't remember. All the outfits I think are different. Hers may not have changed, but this one's different. Oh, this one with this thing in front of his face. No. This one over here, he looks like like one of the modern superhero things, Birdman or something. No, he did not look like Birdman. So I don't know if you guys remember that episode. Weird thing is that that episode is called Amok Time. Now I'm assuming it means that Spock runs amok, but it has interesting alternative possible meaning. Anyway, so yeah. Got that one. All right. I need to see what you guys are talking about. Thank you. Yes, Gesundheit. Oh, T-Box remembers. Nobody on Redcon seems to remember, so far anyway, the old. When I looked for residual on this, I checked costumes. There is no sign of my old costume. I'd be curious if anybody can even slightly describe the old costume to see if it's the same as what I remember. I had a new township pop up on me. When I looked it up, population wasn't even listed. No date for it. Also weird name for area. Its Facebook page only lists 3 visits. Yeah, keep an eye on it, though. I bet you it will grow. That's how these Emmys start. They start out small. The pain part is truly annoying. Yeah, it's just kind of uncomfortable to sit with that hip thing. And when I lay down, I still can kind of feel it. It's weird. I think also, you guys might want to really just think of yourselves as pretty or handsome and just try to think of yourself as positive as possible, because I really do think that it is my opinion anyway that that thoughts and emotions drive some of the Emmy, at least in our own personal frame. I mean, I don't know. I think we do have an effect globally, but I think that's more of a kind of a democracy thing. But in our own sphere, I think we have more influence. And I think that it won't hurt, let's just say, to try to just be more kind to yourself and more appreciative of yourself and more respectful and try to have more confidence. I don't think that will hurt. But I do think it may also help. So it's just one of those things, like, just to be on the safe side, you might want to work on that. I mean, I'm not just saying you all, myself too. That's something I do try to work on. I do think that I look better than I used to. I have one extra snaggletooth now, but my face, I think, is better than it used to be. The headdress was not like that. Yep, the white stripes is new. That looks stupid. I mean, the old one looks kind of stupid too, but it was a totally different look. Yeah, I'm just wondering if anybody can describe at all how the old one looked. This is one, it might just be too nichey for people to really lock down, and I know that the Emmy tends to kind of fuzz the old memories. This may be just one that I used to look at that outfit and I just used to think about it, and that's why I can remember it. I was thinking the sash was red, actually. That's interesting. I thought it was a red sash, not purple. But I won't swear on the sash because I'm not sure on the sash. But I am sure that there was not that guy with the big thing like that. I am sure that nobody looked like a bird monster. And I am 100% sure that, I think that's T'Pau, that woman, her outfit, I am 100% sure on her outfit. 100%. The other ones, I can't say I'm 105%, but I know that her outfit is not right. I remember her outfit being stiff and angular purple. What I remember, you're getting close. I remember it being like a burgundy color. So that is a form of purple. And what I remember is it came down, and you're right, it was stiff, and it would came on her face, and it had all these, you're right, it was angular. It's hard to describe, but it was like a kind of, the fabric just had to, it looked like it was a soft fabric, but yet it was stiff. So I thought there must be some kind of real stiff stuff in there, because it looked, it also had kind of an old Chinese look or something. And it was very much down and on her face and around here. She didn't have this thing up there at all. It was more like shh. And the whole outfit was mostly that burgundy. I don't remember too much other color on there. So that's interesting. Yeah. So Ghosty 333. I think that what you're describing is what I remember. And I actually looked for that outfit. I didn't see anything. I did see a few purple outfits, but I didn't see anything with that face stuff. That's why I always thought it was like, there's just something about that outfit. And I kind of liked it, but I kind of thought it was tacky, and I was kind of impressed by its gravity defyingness. And it was a very unique look. I give it to them. I think I just would look at it and go, how does that stay on her face? Choose a favorable timeline. Yeah, I think the way you choose a favorable timeline is, I suspect that you go to where you match up. So if you have to think of favorable things, optimism, I'm pretty okay looking, I'm not too bad looking, kind of just get a better attitude. I think that you go to where you think. So think good things, and you may go there. That's what I think. I can't swear to it, but I do think that every hang-up you have and every negative you thought you have is more powerful now than it used to be. So you can really get stuck if you don't clean up your dark side, basically. And I mean, it's not just about fake happiness. It's about going in there, facing your demons, and dealing with your insecurities. And it's hard work, and stuff you may not want to think about. It's not all fun and games, but I think it's worth it. I think it's totally worth it. She had a brown one-color hat and uniform. It was definitely burgundy for me. I don't know if it's the same in all the timelines, but it was burgundy, which is this color, which I think the spelling has changed on burgundy too. Yeah, burgundy used to be like that, A-N-D-Y, but now it's, that looks ridiculous to me with the extra U on the end. Burgundy. So, yeah, it's kind of like brown, so you maybe, it's like a, burgundy is kind of like a mix between brown and purple. So, hers, what would I say hers was like? Maybe like that color. Could have been like that color. There's kind of a wide range. It was definitely on the brownish side of the burgundies. Maybe like this color. This is pretty close to what I remember here. Burgundy. Used to be the A on the end of burgundy. And yeah, it was pretty much one color. I think there was a little bit of trim, but it was just like a bunch of burgundy. The men's silver outfits are reused Romulan kit. Yeah, it just wasn't, they weren't like that before. They weren't silver. The whole thing had more of an ancient Asian feel to it. They went real Asian-y there in my old timeline. And this one, they just, I don't know what that is, but it's more of a modern robot Birdman look now. Kind to self and others, and it starts at home. Be kind to yourself, and then it's easier to be kind to others. I mean, this is just old hat, but it still bears repeating. The costume in Star Trek is different. The colors are more feminine and alien looking. Yeah, they were just a lot more Asian-y and more old school, traditional for me. And there's the Emmy from like what is it 2 years ago where they have that weird trim on their like all of the officers have these trim colors on their sleeves now, like little silver and gold trims. I'm going to start doing affirmations again. It worked before when I wanted to fix a toothache. I think they do help, but the problem is if you have something in your mind that's opposite of it. Like if you say I want a new car, I want a new car, I want a new car, try to imagine a new car. The problem is if you think you don't deserve a new car, if you have like conflicting thoughts about the new car, then the affirmations may not work because you've got an opposite thing. They're fighting each other's. So that's why I say you got to go in and you have to really analyze and pay attention as you go through your day, the things that you tell yourself. So you'll probably notice if you really start looking at yourself, the more you really kind of when they say mindfulness, they never really explain that. Maybe I'm sure some people do, but I always hear, "Oh, be mindful." But what does that even mean? For me, it means watching what's going on in your head. Everybody has this that when they're like, say, you're driving, you're taking a shower, anything that is not you're not concentrating really hard on, like math or something. You have like scripts that run in your head. There's things that you tell yourself. Maybe you fantasize about some fantasy. What are you fantasizing about? Is it positive? Is it negative? If it's negative, why are you fantasizing a negative thing? What are you getting out of it? I'll tell you, everybody I know has negative fantasies, and when you think about it, that's just weird. It's really weird. Insecurities, things that just run, and your brain will just go over them and over them and over them. So what you do is you step back and you look at those like you're a different creature than those, and look at those and just kind of get a better understanding about what's going on inside. And that's what I mean like by doing the work. Is it's not just about I want a car, I want a car, I want a car, but everything you feel about your self-worth, about a car. Maybe you think that getting a car is like bad for the environment, or you shouldn't do it, or anything like that can get in the way. So there's so many things. Maybe you had a bad childhood experience and this is reminding you of it. There's so many things, and a lot of them aren't even logical. Don't beat up on yourself if it's ridiculous, because a lot of them you'll find out are, when you really look at them, you're like, that's ridiculous. Just uncover them and be forgiving to yourself that that a lot of it'll be stupid, ridiculous, repetitive, obvious, all these things. Don't feel bad because everybody else has got that. I mean, may not your identical one, but they'll have another stupid one and another obvious one. And it's amazing because at first you feel so genius that you figured this out. And then you're like, so obvious. But, so if you can't get somewhere, if you're really blocked, really try to just dig into like every issue you may have, no matter how ridiculous, and try to get an idea of your own scripts and the things you tell yourself. Gong looks different. Oh, does the gong look different? Dum, dum, dum. Let's see. I think I can just go back. No. Dum. Oh, yeah, there. That was it. Does the gong... Oh, I can't swear to this one, but I do kind of remember a round gong, like an oval. That's what I would say. And not, I don't know what these little horns are on the top, but I don't remember that either. And kind of, This one looks like some kind of gunmetal color. I can't remember if it was gold or silver, but it was more normal looking. I think it was gold, but I don't remember. You're right. Yeah, the gong. The gong does look strange. This one shows. I don't remember this thing up here either. Yeah, that whole set is just weird. Just weird. I still don't understand where Captain Picard got his crystal. Yeah. I love my inner self more. I've definitely gotten better. I had a long way to go. I still have a ways to go. I'm not done, but I think it really helps. I've tried it both ways, let's just say, and I've done a lot better trying to dig in there and find all my stupid stuff. You know, that's not a very nice way to say it, but Mandela affected $2. Thank you. Let's see. You had something to say, but where did it go? Dang it, it disappeared. Where did it go? There. Rare white rainbow spotted in Scotland. Yes. Oh, okay. It's just my title. Dum dum dum. They were all Vulcans, no Birdmen. Yeah, I think those Birdmen were supposed to be Vulcans with some weird outfit. I look at them and they look like Birdmen, but those are supposed to be Vulcans. And see this teal colored thing, I don't recognize that either. I think these are cosplayers though. Let's see. Still. Alright, we don't need to see that. Yeah, see, these are all supposed to be Vulcans, though. You can't see their ears, but they had more of a, I don't know, a better looking costume on. That's all I have to say. Just seeing all this silver stuff, I don't remember that. It's just way more tacky now. I mean, it wasn't like the pinnacle of fashion before, but yeah, just weird. Oh, yeah, the Star Trek badge. Dang, I don't think I knew that one that well. You know, a lot of this stuff, I remember, it's just stuff that I spent time thinking about. All right. Here is what I notice on this. There's something different about this center star thing. Did they even have a center star thing? There's something weird about that. I'm not sure if it even had a center star thing. Also, the points, there's more variation between the 2 points than I remember. I remember this one being a little fatter and this one being a little thinner. They weren't symmetrical, but they weren't this different. Actually, this one here, where did it go? That one is more like it. I don't remember any of those. So I don't know what the official one is. I guess I can't say too much. I don't remember this split thing. I don't know. Are any of these new? These ones look more like it. I don't remember this circle thing though. Do I remember I'm wearing black pants? I think so. I think that I don't remember any other color, so I think black is legit. The First movie as communicator as wristwatch. Yeah, I remember this thing. That's interesting. Yeah, it was like that. It was like a flip phone. Shadow work. Yeah. It just, I mean, it sounds all fancy, but you're just basically looking at all that stuff that's bad inside you and you're avoiding and just dealing with it. And once you deal with it and let it go, then it's not a trigger inside you anymore. You have much more peace. I think that those dark things inside, they suck up so much energy too, because it's like you feel a release. All the bridges in every Star Trek got way more tech and colorful. Hmm. Yeah, they've been running a lot of reruns on them too. So, like this one, it just came up a few nights ago. I'm like, and when I'm like, oh, this episode where you already know what's going to happen, and then I just was, oh, and I'm going to see that woman with the burgundy outfit, and then I'm like, what? Especially that thing on the hair. That's the first thing I saw were those white stripes. It's like the new style skunks with the double white stripe. I'm like, no, 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 no. Anyone saw a pic of me with shorts on, I'm still conscious of my amputation. All I can say for those kind of things is, um, own it. Just be like, think it's cool. If you walk around like you're cool and you really feel like you're the stud, people will follow that. They follow the emotions you put out. So instead of saying like I'm insecure because I'm missing a leg, say I'm really cool because I'm missing a leg and I can walk around on this whatever, you use, and it's neat. Just, work on switching that attitude around. Own it. And that's one thing I do like about this timeline is just like you be you. Unfortunately, sometimes you be you is somebody being a total biatch and thinking it's cool and being mean to people and thinking it's cool. I don't agree with that. But I do like the attitude of, you know, embrace your own uniqueness in general, as long as it's not some kind of bad trait. Having lived through something difficult and making do with certain issues that other people didn't have to deal with, that is, to your credit. That is something to be proud of. So just remember that. Spock's sash was gold colored. Dang, I do kind of remember that. I'm just not sure on the sash. It wasn't freaking purple though. I mean, there's a reason why I think it wasn't purple. It's just a color that a friend of mine likes, and whenever I see purple, I just think of her. But who knows? Maybe it's who knows how many timelines we've gone through too. Burgundy was just dark red. Burgundy is not dark red to me. It's like a purple, red, brown. I don't know how to describe it. There's a lot of shades of burgundy though, so it's kind of a hard color to pin down. Yeah, that's one thing about the shifting is I think it's going to make relationships difficult. Um, People, it seems like each timeline, some people seem to be very similar in each timeline, and other people aren't. And so if you have friends with one of those shifting back and forth like that, it can be hard. I don't even know what to say. I don't know how I would deal with it. Treat others the way you wish to be treated. Yep, do unto others. But, I do think you have to find that peace inside yourself in order to really be able to do that. To not like, to really appreciate people and not be jealous and comparing yourself to them and worrying about being better or worse and all those things. And I'm not saying I never do that, but I have gotten a lot better on those things. And it's a lot more peaceful that way. So I think when you do your shadow work, as they say, deal with your issues, I think is probably a more simple way to say it. Deal with your issues. Work on your issues. Don't hide from them. Challenge them. And not saying it's easy, but when you do that, you learn a lot and you do improve on a lot of things. And it's just easier. And people like you more. They sense that peace. They sense that you're not judging them. They sense that you actually care about them. And then they'll like you more. It's weird because you stop worrying about if they like you, and that's when they'll like you. There's so many Zen things like that. You stop worrying about it, and then you get it. Yeah, see, Skookum, I always hear mindfulness is being present in the moment, but I don't think people really know what that actually means. I mean, um, I've heard people just talk about like paying attention to each thing that you're doing. I'm picking this up. It feels like this. Um, for me, what works best for me, and I'm not saying that I'm the expert of the universe on this, but is really looking at what I'm thinking, not concentrating on what something feels like and every little touch and things, but actually just reading my scripts. Maybe that other stuff is meant to help train that, but I don't know how much it helps me to pay attention to the exact feeling of the edge of this little mouse versus the top, versus how the wheel clicks, that kind of mindfulness. I don't see how it helps as much, nearly as much as looking in there and seeing what my issues are, which oftentimes there'll be scripts running like all day long. If you can just learn to look at those scripts, there's so many clues there. It was absolutely fascinating, the stuff that I found going through my head. I couldn't believe it. And a lot of it was just, it was stupid stuff. I'm sure everybody else has a bunch of it too. And so repetitive. Like, God, you'd think I'd get bored. 3 years on and I'm getting used to it. Yeah, I don't know. You, the past, I mean, learn from it, but you can't cling to it. I think you just have to accept that you're on the path you're meant to be on. Did I cover the rainbow blanket octopus? Yeah, that one was actually on quite some time ago, over like early on in the show. The gong was round. Yeah, it could have been round. I don't remember that one. I remember it being like a precious metal. It looks like gunmetal now. It looks like they painted it gunmetal. I think the set is like more cheesy in this one. It looks more modern too. They have a whole. They didn't go for that ancient Asian look in this timeline. I had an affliction that I couldn't fix no matter how hard I tried. I tried setting intentions and using affirmations for small things more as an experimentation, but it actually helped for each thing. Yeah, I what I find with myself is there's something I'm missing if I can't make progress on something. And it could be, it could take me 10 years to figure out what the root of that issue is in my head. Some of them are way down in there. So I think the little ones are easier because they're not attached to so many issues. You don't have to dig through so many issues. I hope I get a new toothbrush. It's going to be a lot easier than I hope that I become rich and famous. The toothbrush does not require too much change in your psyche compared to the other one. I'm not saying you're asking for that, but probably if it's not budging, it's something fairly big. Otherwise, you probably would have went, meh, I don't even want that anyway. I've seen pretty large blocks of flats appear overnight. Yeah, there's some new buildings around town for sure. I don't know if I'd notice the apartments as much because they're sort of all the same looking, but a whole military airport appeared one day near my home. Yeah, a lot of the new islands are showing up. They're all military bases. I think that's kind of like how the ME sneaks those islands. Well, you didn't know about this because you're not allowed to visit. I noticed Catalina Island off the coast of California has now got a bunch of stuff on it and has for a long time. Now, when Catalina first showed, it was just, there was like, I actually looked at going to Catalina Island, and they said it's pretty boring because it's just hills and stuff. There was there was nothing there, so I was like, man, I'm not going to pay to get shuttled down to Catalina Island, and there's nothing there other than the same old hills that are over here, plus some ocean. But Catalina Island now, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, okay? I mean, 10 years? Okay, so now we've got all of this stuff, and there's ruins on there that are older than 10 years. Catalina has got it going on now. There was nothing there before. This stuff did not spring up in the last 10 years. So there's all these old haunted places on Catalina now, because there was, I mean, it's just, I don't know. Catalina's a lot bigger too. In another universe, Eva's rich and drives a black Ferrari. BT has the same kind of personality. Yeah, I don't know. I don't, my personality is not, I probably get a nice off-road vehicle that was functional off-road if I was just gonna like throw money at something, because then I wouldn't have to worry about the gas mileage. Not like one of those giant monster things, like kind of a mid to small size that actually works off-road, because I do like off-roading a little bit now and then. Not really just to like do nothing on the roads, but like going places, looking for things, looking for rocks, looking for ruins. And a lot of times those things are on the ends of old dirt, scungy roads. So that's why I would like to have an SUV. I don't know if I'd be a sports car person. I mean, I look at sports cars, they're nice looking, but they have no room. I can't do anything in them. I mean, be afraid to put your dog in there. You get hairs on it or scratch the upholstery. That's why I like the SUVs with the plastic flooring. You can just hose them out. All new islands popping up everywhere. She's a pink Mercedes girl. Nope, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm definitely like an FJ Cruiser kind of girl. FJ. I was looking at those, but they don't make them anymore, and it costs a fortune to get even a used one now. Doink. Dunk, dunk. I like these cars, though, these trucks. Also, I need a little more room because I haul a lot of stuff for work, and I like the looks of those. And I actually am not really good at recognizing vehicles, so I love the white roof because then you can find your vehicle really easily in the parking lot. I like the suicide doors. They open like this, but I've heard that you can't open the back door until you open the front door first, so then I didn't like it as much. But that's my style. Anyway, that's totally not ME-like, but let's get back to the storyline here. And I like Japanese cars too because they're reliable. And if American cars became reliable and got good reliability ratings, I would be happily buy them. But right now, their reliability sucks, and I like reliable cars, especially when you're off-road, because AAA is not going to go off-road and haul your hiney butt out of there. So you really need something reliable, in my opinion, which is why I haven't bought a Jeep, because they're not very expensive, but their reliability is like famously crap. They work great until they don't work. All right, got you. All right, this one. Spleen. All right, I've covered some spleen stuff before. It was that accessory spleen. That was last week. Since then, I found a new thing. Did I write it down where I found that? Shoot. I didn't write down the name of the article, but basically, the thing is that they're saying now is that the spleen can often heal on its own. So they were saying that in the old days, if there was any spleen injury, they would just take it out as a splenectomy. But now they realize that the spleen can heal on its own. So it's if the injury is not too bad. So it's getting more like the liver, basically. It can heal itself. So that's just one thing I want to... I can't remember where I read that, but there was some articles on it. Okay, and these ones I think are probably a little older ME. I think I've seen these and assumed that they were babies. Like they were baby hippos, but they're not. These are pygmy hippos. They get like 3 feet tall. So there's a whole species of like tiny hippo now. I think I saw these for the last year at least, but I just thought that they were babies. But no, these 3 feet tall hippos are just, that's how big they are. They have their own, and they're called pygmy hippos. Dang it, I can't find one with a person in it. Last time I looked, this was so easy. Come on. Maybe just no S. Nope, same exact search. All right, here. All right, so there's, this is an adult hippo. Now, I think I saw this before and I thought it was like a baby hippo. But no, this is an adult hippo here. Very cute little, well, kind of cute anyway. Grows to be 3 feet. Some of them are even, they said 2.5 feet. So it's sort of like those dwarf pigs. Tiny hippos. Yeah, I know. There was only one species of hippo in my timeline, and it was the hippos. Their size is their defense. One of the things, if you really read the excuses for why animals have stuff, I probably should have saved this, but they were trying to explain why so many deep sea animals are bioluminescent. And they were like, well, these ones are bioluminescent to hide from predators, and these ones are bioluminescent to attract. So say like a predator comes for you, and then you become bioluminescent to scare off that predator. But then somewhere else they're saying they became bioluminescent to attract a bigger predator to eat the other predator that's trying to eat you. I'm like, well, what is it? Are you hiding? Are you attracting a predator? Are you attracting another predator? How can you be both? I don't know. Some of the storylines were just getting like ridiculous. I mean, what are the chances that you are about to get eaten by a predator and you turn bioluminescent and another predator like runs over and eats your attacker before your attacker eats you? And what's stopping that second predator from just eating you. I don't know. The whole thing was just like, it was such a stretch. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, does that still exist in backwards land? For the most part, yeah, there are some of those opposite thread things for some of the lathes and stuff, but overall, it still works. Thankfully. Can you imagine trying to like tighten anything if it all flipped? Mini cows. Yeah, I saw the mini cows. I think I covered those already. And the super mini horses. I mean, we had ponies, but they weren't like tiny like the mini horses. And I first saw the mini horse on that commercial for dog doors. They had a commercial where you can buy a dog door, and then a little mini horse was using the dog door. And I remember thinking, holy crap, I had no idea horses got that small. Okay, this one is by Chris Roberts. It's just something that he mentioned in the comments that kind of struck a chord with me. And what he was mentioning is that lately, a couple times, he'd been called the wrong gender. So when he said that, I realized that it's happened to me a few times lately, and it never happened before. I have not changed my appearance that much. If anything, I probably am a little more girly than I used to be. But basically, I'm in some store and some worker goes, "Sorry, sir," or "Excuse me, sir," and then they look at me better and like, "Oh, sorry." But that just never used to happen. It's just we're too similar now. So apparently, he's having the same problem. And actually, that's the last one. So I don't know if you guys are getting that, but it's just something that never happened before. Just weird. I think that's everything I have, too. Because the last one on this list was the Easter Island ones. I've already covered that one. Okay, but I can't get this nut off. It's not like on a lathe or anything that rotates, because sometimes those will they will tighten. If it spins like that, then that will tighten it. So you have to loosen them against the spin. If there's anything that turns, like blades or anything that's spinning, then one side will be righty-tighty and the other side will be the opposite. It'll be lefty-tighty. If you have, they're holding the thing on, one on each side with the thing in the middle that spins. One side will be opposite. So if you can't get the nut off, definitely put some of that, oil and try to loosen it up too. Then I smack it with a hammer a few times. Sometimes that helps. A lot more mini cows. Yeah, the mini cows are so cute. I'm pretty sure I covered those before, but mini cows. And they're fuzzy mini cows. That's one thing I've noticed lately. First we had fuzzy cows, then we had mini cows. Now we have fuzzy mini cows. They're so cute. Moochie the mini cow. Look at that. I mean, it looks like a dog except for the nose. Moochie mini cow. The colorations. Oh my God. Look at that. It's like a giant teddy bear. So I'm guessing they're going to say that's a baby, but still. How many are they going to get? Look at those. Those are so cute. They're like dogs now. Look at them. Look at them. Oh, give me some. They're cute. Do you remember the ostrich with 2 toes or 3? I don't remember how many toes they had. She'll be riding 6 white horses when she comes. For me, she'll be riding 6 white horses. That song. She'll be she'll be riding 6 white horses when she comes. She'll be riding 6 white horses when she comes. Na 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 na. It was definitely riding for me. Oh, I'm guessing there's probably what, 2 versions now. The Emmy loves their versions. I heard a lot of people are face blind. Yes, yes, that's me. Although not totally bad, but I can do it. I just use certain features, but it takes me a while. I'm not as good as some people. My hardest thing face wise is people who just look really generic. If they just look like the same as a million people, that one is hard for me. They don't have like a anything distinguishing, then it's hard for me. My daughter gets called sir often, very weird. Yeah, it just never used to happen. It just always, you could tell. No matter what you wore, they would know. I mean, you really had to put in a bunch of effort to hide it, and even then it was pretty hard to do. Soak it in diesel. Yeah, I think they make a special oil to release it, but if you have diesel around, why not? Cute until you get a horn in the eye. Yeah. Well, they're cute from way over here anyway. I guess it depends on how mean they are with those horns. You know, I'm not an expert at it, but I have been in a couple cow fields. There weren't any bulls, and they were all the cows I've met have been pretty meek. I mean, none of them were going to be poking me with those. You know, they were very shy. You couldn't move too fast or they'd skitter off. You had to keep really, really slow moving and gentle. They were watching you the whole time, ready to run like hell. So it's hard for me to imagine getting poked by one of those kind of cows, but I don't know the personality of those little ones. Anyone else lost the white quicksand? Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while. I used to have it. The white moons is what you're talking about, I assume. Yeah, I haven't had that in a while. Lizards have 3 eyes and some fish and frogs. Yes, the parietal eye. I have covered that one. That one has been on. And then we covered all the weird eyes on the flies and the bees. The bees now have the 2 main eyes and the accessory eyes. That was just a couple weeks ago. New species of reptiles. There's probably like hundreds of new species of reptile. Thousands of frogs in your yard. Yeah, you know, we've had that before in the past that we had a lot of frogs, but the frogs now synchronize their croaking. They didn't used to. I've gotten black eyes and broken glasses from cows. They rub you trying to be affectionate. Yeah, that might be the difference, is that these are a little more shy. Like I said, I'm not the cow expert, but or they didn't know me. There's a worm who gave birth to 10 babies. I don't know worms though. There's a million weird worms. There always was, but now even more. But those are just ones I'm like, that's the insect world. I didn't know it as well. The gecko that didn't exist. There's a whole bunch. A woman, not a worm. Oh, a woman gave a birth to 10 babies. Okay, that's more than a worm. Woman gave birth to 10 babies at once. All right, all I'm seeing is up to 4 girls. Well, you know what? They said that octomom, but that was artificial insemination. So, sextuplets in 9 minutes. Yeah, you know, come to think of it. But but it was always because she released a lot of eggs due to fertility treatments. But yeah, Octomom, didn't she carry like 8? That one's, yeah, you know, it's definitely not anything I knew of in the 80s, but they're blaming it on the fertility treatments. So I don't know. I don't know. Octomom, didn't she? She had 8. Octomom. She's not as as messed up as she was before too. This version of Octomom is more with it. How many? I'm pretty sure it was 8 because Octo. Implanted with 12 embryos. Octuplets all came from the same father. Yeah. All right. I mean, she was totally crazy in the old timeline, and this timeline she is a lot more together than she was in the old timeline. That's all I have to say. I want to breed by splitting. I don't know. I don't know if I want to breed. Oh yeah, you're right. It's her name has changed. Octomom used to be Nadia, Nadia. You're right. Now it's Nadya, Nadja. Yeah, good observation. Alrighty, well, anyways, it's getting late. I have covered all my stuff. You guys don't remember Octomom? If you're in America, you should have heard of her. I don't know if it went global, but she was kind of all viral. If you watch TV or news or anything, you should have heard of her. Octomom. She was the thing, at least in my timeline. I don't know about you guys, but because she was kind of nuts and everybody's like, you're crazy, and because she had them implant that many eggs, 12 eggs, knowing that she could have a jillion babies, and she didn't have any money, so who's going to raise all those? And so everybody pretty much agreed she was nuts. And then she just talked, you know, when you interviews and stuff, you really, it just seemed really irresponsible. But in this timeline, she's like, seems like she's taking good care of them, this and that. I don't know. That's why that article was saying it has proved us all wrong, meaning she's not the train wreck that seemed obvious at the time, at least not anymore. All right. Anyways, I think it's getting to be about that time for me to go sleep. So I'm gonna hit it. You guys got to work on your UK meetup one of these days. And don't forget about Dark Wolf's Den's conference coming up. And thank you, everybody, for your contributions and for listening. I really appreciate it. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.